And so you were describing, kind of the first, the second, the third month as a, you don't have to give the dollar amount, but as a percentage, what did you see in those 3 months that you mentioned?
So the percentage we made was, let's see, I didn't even look. I'd averaged it out by dollars. I don't mind giving you the dollar amount because I hadn't done a percentage, and since we're talking, it's been averaging around 15.6 thousand a month or better. It may be a little more than that.
Wow.
So in the last 3 months, we made a little over 15,000, $700 a month. And that's just the first 3 months. I'm imagining it's probably going to get higher from there.
So, Sydney, if we can just start, could you just tell me a little bit about yourself? What's your professional background?
Yeah, I work for Atlanta Department of Transportation. I'm a senior financial manager there, so I deal with a lot of grant funding, a lot of federal money because we do a lot of stuff in the city like roadway improvement, traffic light improvement, things like that, sidewalks. So it's because the city is always growing. There's always new work to be done. So I deal with a lot of the federal funding that basically is used to facilitate those projects.
Nice, understood. And what mainly for you was a reason why you felt like I'd like a supplemental income or some form of passive, or was it more so like a growth vehicle for you that you were looking for?
So I'll tell you what happened, Aaron, just to be honest. I kept looking at your video, right? And I had money sitting in Charles Schwab and I had scaled it to a certain point, right?
Mhm.
But then with the market fluctuating like it is, I don't trade stock. So I had a scale period where things were really doing well. Then I had a retraction period
Mm.
where it just totally went backwards. And I think you understand. So once that happened, the money being not a lot, but enough where you don't want to lose any more, I had been watching your videos and I knew if I could just get this money, some of it moved over, I should be able to eventually get the rest of it moved over because this is money I have. It's family money. It's money my mother and father have acquired along with some of my own money. And I said to my mother, I was like, it doesn't make sense to leave it over here. It's not smart. We have to be smart. We have to be prudent. And if we don't do this now, we could end up losing quite a bit more because I'm not a stock trader. I don't I made investments that were smart, meaning I put it in the right type of stock where we both know stocks go up and down, up and down. And mainly it was technology I was invested in, mainly.
Mhm.
So it did well for a minute, but then all of a sudden with the change in administration and all that and all the volatility with from the leadership we have now, everything was just kind of going back and forth, back and forth. And then when the market tanked about, I think it was like 2.5 months ago when it tanked. That's when I started with you guys.
Yeah.
In April, May, it really nosedived, right? And it nosedived so much so that I lost well over 200 grand just over a week and a half span. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. So I got out of those positions and I got in fixed income, but fixed income, as you know, it's not scaling really. It's just making you a little bit at a time, just a
Yeah.
little bit.
Sure.
So I told my mother, I was like, we have to move. I know this guy. He's been online for quite some time. He has this platform that's really good. He's showing the returns. His clients are showing, and no one's unhappy. Everyone is just praising the platform he's created. And I hadn't seen one testimonial where there's been somebody saying anything other than something like, I'm glad I met Aaron Richards. So it's been one of those things. And then when I got her on board, I was like, well, let's just do partial right now.
Mm.
Let's send some over. Once we see how it works, you'll be okay. I'm telling you. And then after 90 days, when we started in your diamond program, I told her we need to scale up. We got to go up to the platinum. I mean, we got to, but I mean, the platinum program is where we started. And I told her, I said, it's time to go to the diamond program.
Yeah.
I mean, it's time because over the last 90 days, we've done quite well.
That's
We've done quite well, Aaron. I can't complain. And she can't either. So I told her, I said, it's time to just go ahead and go full scale, move some more in there, and we'll just move more in methodically when you're comfortable. But let's go ahead and get started with this thing because from what I can see, that level is going to even scale faster.
yeah.
So And once I told her that, she was like, okay, do it. And I'm like, okay, let's get moving. So now I'm trying to transition from where we are right now in your program to the next level. And I appreciate what you did for me the other day, but I'm working on that. And that'll be next week, that'll be done.
Yeah.
We'll be in that next tier.
I love that. And for you, just knowing that you saw like a perception online, and you see kind of like outside looking in how things appear, but then you being now on the other side and it's been several months to this point, like what do you feel like is something that makes ATN different than some of the things that you've experienced previously?
So I could not figure out how to choose the right scaling process before, because again, I didn't understand. I had some positions that were just technology positions in the stock market, and I really didn't know, Aaron, how to scale. I was like, okay, I'll take these positions in these technology stocks, and I know over time they'll do well. And they did. They did pretty well. I mean, it got up for a while, but then the retraction that took place, it was just not smart. You can't make money and then lose 30, 40, 50% of your money in a short time, when a window of time. The goal is, like we said, just steady growth. You don't want to be in a program that it's going back and forth. It's going back and forth. And what I saw you guys were doing was, unlike stock, right? It's steadily growing. So it does not, if you're making money constantly on your money, that's the program you want to be a part of for long term, not something that can go backwards, go forward, go backwards. You're not really doing anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I mean, on your end, once you so we'll kind of take a step back a little bit. Once you made the decision, you and your family made the decision to get started, how was the actual setup process? Who helped you get everything set up?
Oh my God, I cannot think. The guy's name, he was out of Tennessee. I forget his name, but he was the one who showed me the tiers. He showed me the diamond tier and the platinum tier. And he explained to me, like, I don't remember his name, Aaron.
So either Jared, or we had Jonathan.
I think his name was Jared. Is
Okay.
he out of Tennessee? That's Jared. Yeah, yeah. Jared was the one who he brought me on board, and he said, look, I'm going to show you some of these different accounts and you can make a decision. But if I were you, I'd at least start at the mid tier, which is the diamond. And I said, well, show me the platinum. And he says, well, if you go this level, this is what it will potentially look like in 1 year's time. And he showed me one guy who he had invested $1 million, right? And he had gotten a return on $1 million in 1 year of almost $1 million. And I said, wow, you mean to tell me this platform does that? And he goes, yeah, he had over $900,000 return in 1 year on $1 million. I said, oh my God. And he said, now that's the highest level, but if you go to the mid tier, which is this amount, you'll still do really well. And he showed me one of the accounts, and that had done in a year's time 55, 60% return. Huh?
Yeah.
I found it hard to believe at first, but if you show that and you see that, you're like, nah, I can't. I have to get in this program. So it was just different than I had experienced or seen before. I didn't know what to think at first. It almost looks like it's not true, but it's true. When you look at the platform, you look at the accounts, you're saying, is this really happening compared to what I've been doing all this time over here? I should have done this 10 years ago, but it's just hard to believe.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe. So if I were to try to tell someone this, they wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It's because people are skeptics about stuff like that. And I just think that if you do it, you'll be like mad that you hadn't done it sooner. That's my take on it.
Yeah. No, and that it doesn't ever get old to hear that sentiment, even though I understand. No, that's actually, it's actually true. You kind of are like, man, I do actually wish that I got in sooner.
I wish I'd have done it 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. But there's things I wish that I wouldn't have lost, multiple six figures in e-commerce, ventures as well.
I did the same, Aaron. I tried Amazon. I still had a seller's account, and I lost $50,000.
Hmm.
Basically, it cost me 30, and then the money I had to keep putting into it to buy inventory.
Yeah.
The setup fee was 30 grand, and then I lost another 20. And by the time I realized it wasn't making, it was too late. I was like, I got to stop. So I just shut it down
Yeah. No,
because it's just like e-commerce stuff.
no, exactly. That's what I had to do as well. It was just it was hemorrhaging and I had to stop contributing to the hemorrhaging. I was like, I can't just be continuing to buy inventory because
Yep. Yep.
it's not profitable or
It wasn't
that
profitable.
it wasn't the experience that I signed up for. But on your end, when you thinking back to when you got started and you got your account set up, how quickly did you start to see passive income generated on your account?
So at first, it didn't take off from inception really quickly because I guess I didn't expect it to.
Mhm.
But by the third week, I'm saying, okay, I see it now. It's starting to go up.
Yeah.
And then I say one month in, I realized that okay, this thing made wow that much money in 1 month. And then the next month, I turned around and I started doing the numbers. I said, okay, wow, that's even more this month than last month. So what really got me excited was the third month.
Mm.
Okay. The third month is when I knew that I needed to scale to your next level. I just needed to convince my mother that it made sense because once I told her we made the initial setup fee back already, now it's just we're in the black. She goes, oh, you made that back already? I said, we made that back at the 1st of August. It's all now we're in the black.
Mm.
And she goes, oh wow, that was pretty fast. I'm like, yeah, that was fast. I told you these people are like, they're really good at what they do. And she goes, oh. So I said, I'm gonna wait till the end of this month and then I'm gonna approach her about scaling to the next level. So when I talked to her yesterday, it's ironic because I talked to Julio yesterday. I said, we have to go to the next level. And she said, well, how much? And I said, well, he gave us a deal. That's all and she goes, well, the deal is, I say it's worth it because the deal is good. And she goes, okay, well, let's do it.
Wow.
So I said, okay. So
Got
I
mom's blessing.
everything where you'll be getting me, well, I'll send it to who? I guess I sent it to the place you told me to send it,
Mhm.
right? And then after that, I have to send the money for the new tier account. For
Exactly.
yeah, so I'm gonna be sending that over. It's tomorrow for
Okay.
the payment for the initiation fee because I just cashed out the positions this morning. They won't be liquidated until tomorrow morning. You
Understood.
get that fee, and then I can go ahead and move the other money. It'll probably be Monday since it'll be on a Friday. I
Yeah,
guess.
understood.
Yeah,
Understood. Well,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do the fee to you guys tomorrow, and then I'll do the other thing Monday, and it'll be ready to go, and then I'll be happy.
There you
We'll
go.
be happy.
I love it. And so you were describing, kind of the first, the second, the third month as you don't have to give a dollar amount, but as a percentage, what did you see in those 3 months that you mentioned?
So the percentage we made was, let's see, I didn't even look. I'd averaged it out by dollars. I don't mind give you the dollar amount because I hadn't done a percentage, and since we're talking, it's been averaging around 15.6 thousand a month or better. It may be a little more than that.
Wow.
So in the last 3 months, we made a little over 15,000, $700 a month. And that's just the first 3 months. I'm imagining it's probably going to get higher from there. But when I did I annualized that, and that's Aaron, I don't know what happened.
Oh,
We annualized that. That's just annualized. That's $180,000 a year.
yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
On the investment we put in, that's more than 50%. That's like 55, 60%,
Yeah.
60% actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's at the mid level.
And that's what and that being said, Sydney, it's been great. We have, teams that are capable to deliver these types of results. We've had a relatively good results, that we're excited about, and we're, constantly iterating and looking for okay, this is working and we'll keep what's working, iterate to make sure that it stays maintained. But at the same time, we're looking for other other things. We're constantly testing to make sure that we're putting the best products in front of our clients. And so if you didn't know, we have we have currently 9 algorithms total. We have 9 new ones that we are testing actively now. And by the end of this year, they should be out of testing phase. We'll see how many of them got through it, but we'll have more um, options going forward. And so that's something that, is coming down the pipeline here soon.
Now that tier, that's the diamond. There's not another tier above that, is there?
So before, but like we had Sapphire. Sapphire was our highest tier. But we closed that because we wanted to like basically pilot that. We wanted to have like a control group. And so at the end of this year, when we have more algorithms, we will reintroduce that option.
Okay.
So once that gets closer, we'll have Julio communicate kind of what that looks like, and we'll see, where you're at that point. But
Right.
it's definitely something that, we're going to be really excited to bring back.
Okay, because my mother kept asking me, "Is there another tier above?" I said, I don't think there's another tier. I think we're gonna
Not
do
at
it.
this time. So you are right. Not at this time. There's people that are in that, but not it. We're not actively adding any other investors into it yet. And so by the end of this year is when we're targeting to be able to reopen that to our clients again. But so we'll keep you updated. We'll make sure that once it's clear, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is how it's going to look. Then that's when we'll communicate that with some of the clients that are already at the diamond level. We'll only introduce it to those that are at the diamond level, and have them be able to upgrade into that.
Yeah, okay, good stuff, man. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
And so for you, like compared to like some of the other things that you've tried, you mentioned Amazon, you've done, some things in the stock market. Where would you rank or kind of compare ATN, with those other ventures in mind?
So I've done real estate too, right? And which is, obviously, is very labor intensive, and you can make money, but the labor side of the timeline you have to go through to get the profit,
Yeah.
and just the overall headache of it. There's I look at this program and I say it to myself, based on what I've done, what it's done for me thus far, I would probably have to do at least 3 to 4 real estate deals to get that amount in a year, if this trends like it's trending now,
Mhm.
because the profit margins are tighter because the prices are higher now.
Yeah.
So everything is, you're not making as much on the back end as you would have made 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And the time you spend, the level of work you have to put into it to make the profit is, if you could do something else and make that same profit, I think it would be worth it. It would behoove someone to look into your program, because you're going to have to pay, if you're doing real estate investing up front, just like you have to pay up front with anything else. You're going to have to use some of your own money to get started.
Right.
And then you might make, in 2 to 3 months after you've done the work and all that, you might make what you would have made in 3 months, the same amount of time, without the work in this
Yeah.
program. You see what I mean? You would have made the same amount. You're usually in a deal from 90 to 120 days. Then you're out of it, but you're not making, in that 90 to 120 days, you're not making any more, if not as much as you would have made in this program in 120 days or 90 days.
Yeah.
The numbers are about the same,
Yeah.
without
And you're talking about a flip specifically.
a flip.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
The numbers are about the same.
Yeah. And that,
If you look at it that way, Aaron, it's literally very comparable without doing the work.
yeah. Wow. Yeah.
You're gonna make 40 to, if you're lucky, 40 to 60,000 in 120 days after doing all that work, all that headache, in profit. After you do all the paying back and you could have done that here, if not more.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to ask next. So how passive, like, has it actually been after getting onboarded? How much work have you had to do in order to see $15,000+ a month?
Absolutely zero. I've had to interface with Julio once or twice, and I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I got out of one position, right? And that was just me being a little overzealous, to be honest with you.
Sure.
Say, Julio, I want to get out of one position and get on another position. So, but I want to test it. And he goes, well, just put this much in there. And then because it was supposed to be doing better than all the other positions, but now that I look back at it, it wasn't really doing any better. I didn't put a lot in it.
Okay.
Right. But at the same token, Aaron, it's still doing good. I mean, I could probably go back and work into the positions I was already in from inception, but it wasn't enough money for me to worry about it.
Sure.
I'll just, just do what we're doing now. But
Yeah.
he even told me when he even said to me, I like the way you diversified when you first set up because you didn't do anything that, you're hedging your risk and all that the right way. So I think I did pretty good the way I set up, and I may just take that a little bit out and put it in one of the ones that's doing a little better on the return. I'm thinking about doing that, but it's been great, man.
Yeah.
It's been a great situation.
I love that. I love that. And for you, it's been a few months to this point. Some people are different. Sometimes it takes a few weeks, a couple months. Sometimes it takes a year, 2 years in order to recommend. But how likely would you be when that time is right? How likely would you be to actually recommend us?
The only thing about it is for me, and I'm gonna be really candid with you. I think the timeline which I've experienced this program has been 90 days going into the fourth month now. I don't know how other people, maybe you need to give them a year or 6 months. I would recommend it today, but people are just, from my experiences with people investing, other than someone like myself who's super aggressive about it, I could show it to them, Aaron, and they may be skeptical. Even that it's right in front of you, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what
I would recommend it for real to anyone who was open to the opportunity of trying to scale their retirement income, their whatever they have sitting on the sideline, it's not doing anything in the market. I would say go this route, make the don't worry about the setup fee and all that, because this is a program where that setup fee is just going to be given right back to you in a short period of time. You're going to get the money back pretty quickly.
Well, even for us, what we look at like a traditional business. Well, first of all, we can go with stocks and real estate. You're typically, doubling your money in 7+ years.
Yes.
In a business, you're typically not profitable for the first 2 or 3 years.
That's
And then for this, we kind of aimed to have our entry fee to be like kind of like a 9 or so month break even. For you to do it in two or so months.
I did it in almost not a little over 2.5 months. I think I broke even at the end of July going into August, and I was like, oh my God, I'm breaking even. I was looking at it at the end of July, and I'm like, oh my God, I've surpassed the fee that I paid already.
Yeah.
And then going into August, that's when I told my mother, I said, we're in the black already.
Yeah.
And she goes, you're in the black already? I said, yeah, the fee is, we surpassed the setup fee. And she goes, that fast? And I'm like, yeah, it's been we're in the third month, the beginning of the third month, we're already in profit. Yeah. And she goes, wow. And I said, now all I have to do is give her another 3 weeks, give her 3 more weeks, Aaron. Then I can tell her, hey, from what I see when I set up, we need to scale up to the next level, because that's where you really will see returns, because they're dealing gold, they're doing crypto, they're doing currency. They're doing 3 types of investments, and the other one was yield higher return than currencies, really, technically. So she said, are you sure about that? I said, yeah, that's the point in going to the next level. You get more exposure to more things, and you can scale faster. And she goes, oh, okay. You've already made that much already, and and I said, I'm telling you, Mom, this is the best thing since sliced bread.
So what I would say, Sidney, and I 100% agree with you. I've experienced it as well. One thing that I've done always, and I do recommend to individuals, is when you have this type of profit that like in 2+ months or whatever, I would consider taking profit, getting your principal or the initial investment out off the table, and then, kind of getting to the point where you're getting closer to infinite returns. That's what I typically recommend, so that that way you are putting yourself in a position to realize returns.
You're
Because
right.
right now, as we understand, like you saw with your Schwab going up and then you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
correction. Now, fortunately for us, we haven't had the like the woof, the off a cliff, thing, but we know that there are
There's some fluctuations there for
there's
time.
fluctuations in the market. And so I
Right,
want to just make sure that we don't have euphoria
right,
for forever, right?
right, 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 right,
We
right,
get
right.
some of that capital realized. And so that, do what you will with your accounts, but I always just let people know it is good to take some to
Takes it,
skim some profit,
skim a little bit off the top. Yeah.
skim some
Even if you
profit.
don't take all of it, you should take some of it now.
Yes,
See, because you want to get back your setup fee at least.
exactly,
You want to
exactly.
get that back. Yeah.
Exactly. And so that way you have realized gain,
Yeah.
because right now you see appreciation,
I
but
see appreciation.
the appreciation, can fluctuate. And so I want to make sure that realizing capital is a part of your strategy as well.
Yeah. So, Aaron, should I do that? And this is just a question. Should I do that before I go to the next tier? Or should I wait until everything is set up and then do that? Because
I mean,
all that's gonna move over to that next platform
yeah,
where we are now, plus what I'm sending over next week. Is
yeah.
that gonna be a thing where once I'd rather get all that set up first before I pull it out?
Yeah,
But
that's totally
I
fine.
will pull it out next week.
Yeah.
Based on what you said.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. And doing it that way is totally fine, kind of getting started, and then kind of pulling accordingly. But as long as that's a part of your philosophy in the beginning, right? We're still in the beginning stages. As long as that's a part of your philosophy, skim profits in the beginning, scale till the cows come home, compound forever and ever and ever. After you've realized, some
Some of
capital,
the game,
and
right,
kind of took some off the table.
right. So basically, what you're saying to me, and if I heard you correctly, you want to pull some of that off because that is all at that point. It is realized gains once you take off what you put set up your fee that you use to set it up. Once this next tier goes, make sure I get at least that fee level pay appreciation in that fee level, and then pull some out. Then it's real, like you said, it's realized gains for real at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I
That's
see
what,
exactly what you're saying.
absolutely.
Thanks for telling you told me that, by the way, when I met with him.
You said my brother?
Yeah, David, he said the same thing. He said, man, take profit. And I said, well, I think you saw a chat. I said something in Slack. I said I would be interested in going to the next level once I get to the point where I've gotten the initial feedback and profit.
Yeah.
And then that's when I said, okay, now I can do it because I see it's there. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and do what you said. As soon as I get this thing set up, I'll pull it out.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
And just I'm glad that, again, at every level, whether it's a part of the fulfillment, an onboarding team, or coming from me, I that's important to make sure that from the top down, everybody's communicating the same types of things. And so I'm glad that you've already heard this type of, recommendation, and sounds like you're going to do what makes the most sense for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Your brother, when I met with him, he said the same thing. Who's the oldest? You or your brother?
He is.
He's older than you? Yeah,
Yes.
he said that to me. He said, you want to take profit when you see the profit, you need to take some of it. And I said, okay. I said, but I didn't want to take any before I got the initial
Yeah, no, that
feedback.
makes total
Yeah,
sense. And
yeah.
so, yeah, us being, aligned, and you kind of hearing it multiple times, I know that helps. And so for us, Sydney, I mean, on our end, the main thing for us is just to make sure that we are not only doing what we said we were going to do, but also making sure that you're supported along the way. So it sounds like we're doing.
You're doing a great job, man. I don't know whether I'm gonna be on your videos online or not, because if I am, so be it. But if I'm not, you guys have done you're doing it right. I can say that. It's I'm comfortable, and I hadn't been comfortable for a long time because I didn't know how to grow
Yeah,
things because I don't have that background. So
sure.
I went with the safe stuff, and the safe stuff in stocks is just it's not really true. It can be safe for a while,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah,
it's not infinitely safe. It's
yeah.
not a perpetuity. It's just you can be doing good one day. It just depends on what happens. You
Yeah.
can be doing bad the next. So
It's true. It's true. It's the markets at the end of the day, and
yeah, they're a little fickle at times.
definitely, definitely
Mhm.
love it. Well, I mean, Sydney, I appreciate you taking the time to give feedback. I'm really happy that the results are, playing out, and that's what we expect. That's what we want. And it's always a great thing to see it in reality. So,
Right.
what I'll do is I'll just reconnect with you in the next few weeks, make sure we're still on
Thank
the
you.
same page, and kind of
Thank
take
you.
things from there. We'll make sure to communicate as well when the new algorithms are available, and we'll see how that looks for you at that time.
So one question for you, Aaron, one more question on the next when we go to the next tier
Mhm.
is that who will be helping me with my positions or is it someone else I'll be talking to?
Yeah, no, it's either Julio or Jean that would help.
I don't think I met John. Was that
Okay,
the guy the guy who was on the teams today when I talked? His name was John. I think that's who I saw.
okay,
John Mataba. Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So he'll either one of them will kind of walk you through some of the goals that you have and talk through the different strategies and the profiles and see which one matches what you're looking for and kind of help you from there.
Okay, man. You're a lot. Your brother was I don't know. He seemed his schedule was a little tight when I met him because he was a little rushed. You're more patient, I think, on the phone, on Teams. you're you're a little more patient than he is on Teams.
I'll tell you, my days, even though I have my position, my days are less busy than his. I'll say that. So
That's the impression he gave me because he seemed like he's like, I gotta go get to another call. I'll talk to you later, okay?
yeah, he is a busy individual. However, I would hope that he was able to give you the.
No. It was just that as soon as the time was up that we had allotted, he
Mm,
was like, I gotta go. I got another call and a call after that. And I was like, okay, so
yeah,
hey.
his schedule is segmented out a lot more. He's got a lot more blocks in his calendar than I do. So
Right. Because I've never talked to him again in person since I talked to him from the inception. I've
he's
never had another conversation with him online. It's just been some Slack chats.
Yeah, he's the onboarding specialist. So he like that is kind of his first.
That's why he's so busy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is, right? So he
That's what,
just
yeah.
does
That
the
makes
onboardings, and then we have the support team that when you have any other questions or things, and we just want to make sure that we get the response to you as quickly and as accurately as possible, then that's when you'll see a Tina or a Mickey or a
Julio.
Julio. Exactly. Love it.
Okay.
Excellent. Well, Sydney, any other
Hey, thank you
questions?
for your time,
Yeah.
Aaron, man. I've been watching you guys online for about a year and a half now, maybe
Yeah.
2 years.
Hmm.
And I see you and I'm like, how does he do that? How is he? I kept asking myself, how is he doing that though? And you kept saying, I don't have to do what I used to do. And I'm like, how does he do that though? Because there are not a lot of people online saying what you say about how your life is set up right now.
Yeah.
And I was well, how? And it kept piquing my interest. I'm saying, what is he doing? What is he doing differently than everyone else out? Because people don't say what you say. They don't say, I do this and I do this, and I'm able to spend time with my family, my mother, my father, my wife, my kids. And I'm saying, but how?
And now you see it. The secret's out.
I said, I gotta figure out what Aaron's doing.
The secret is out.
So are you still having the event in Phoenix this in the fall?
It's going to be in Utah, and yes, it'll be in
Okay,
the
you
fall.
changed it. It's
Yeah,
in
we
Utah.
adjusted, we pivoted to Utah because we felt like it would be a little bit better of an experience. We had an amazing time last year in Phoenix, but it was a little warm.
It was hot.
And
Yeah.
it was a little hot. It was
Mhm.
unseasonably hot at the time that we were doing it as well. And so that was because the week before it was like in the 80s, and then the week of it went back into the hundreds. It was like, what? So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
we just did a hard pivot, and we're happy that the clients who have already committed, they all were okay with it, and so we're making the adjustments. But so we're really excited about that, and the next one
So
will be in
did
May.
you send out an evite for that? Did you guys send out information and email for that, or?
I believe it's already been spoken for. Are you already an attendee or?
Well, I don't think I've gotten what I needed to pay for to attend that.
Okay, so then I
I'm
think
not sure.
I
I'm
I
not sure.
believe that Julio is the person that to get in
I'll talk
contact.
to.
So what
I'll
I'll
talk to.
okay, and I'll send him a note as well for him to follow up with you also.
Yeah, I talked to him about it this week because we talked this week, and he mentioned it, but he didn't say that anything about it. I guess he didn't. We didn't talk about it in detail. So
Okay.
he did say to me, you need to pay for this or that." But I need to get with him when I get with him next week on the setup stuff.
Hmm.
I'll get with him and I'll make sure I understand what I need to do.
Understood. Love it.
When is it? Is it in November?
Yeah, November the 8th through the well, if it's November the 8th through the 10th for general admission, November 8th through the 11th if it's VIP.
Okay, got it, got it, got it. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you,
Love it.
man.
Excellent.
Okay,
Well, I'm
brother.
looking forward to connecting again in the next few weeks.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, man, for your time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk soon.
Okay, take care, man.